What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden, and welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly, where we take a deeper dive into the Chicago Bulls previous week, give the awards that we need to give out, see where things kind of go in that department, and then move on to the upcoming week for the Chicago Bulls, which could be a very difficult one in its own right. Now, this week was a rather disappointing week overall, but I wouldn't even say that as maybe even the title of the video or something like that. I would say this is a week of understanding some key problems that the Bulls have and how easily they got exposed throughout the week. It wasn't a terrible week in terms of, you know what, it was a bad week. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It was a bad week, but I would view it as more of a week of understanding. So let's talk about what we understood from the Chicago Bulls in this video. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, as per usual, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls previous week, the awards that you would give out to select people, as well as the upcoming week for the Chicago Bulls that we have to look forward to. Now, a lot of things just being said there, but we ended up playing 4 games, I believe, this week in total, and we ended up going 1 and 3. Sorry, just had a little bit of a brain fart there. But yeah, 1 and 3 is what we ended up going, ladies and gentlemen. So, it's not great. I mean, getting a win is always nice, and it was a nice win as well, but not a great week overall. And it started off with the Utah Jazz, where we allowed Utah to kind of carry things over and get their first win of the season, winning this game 135 to 126. A bit of a disaster in that department, in all honesty. A game the Bulls were clearly the favorites to win, and they're just disappointed, defensively at least. Now, it was a combination of defensively being really, really poor, while also being mixed with Utah not missing. Utah was just unbelievable from the field, and even when we did play great defense, they were making some heavily contested shots. It was that type of game where it felt like they could do no wrong, and they did do no wrong in the end. They walked away with a win. And then obviously we versed the Dallas Mavericks, an elite Dallas Mavericks team. We got cooked in this one, 119 to 99. Didn't like the effort that the Bulls kind of played in this one. It almost felt like they didn't want to be there. It felt like they came in knowing they were going to lose, and they took it like that as well, which was quite embarrassing. And look, I am all for the Bulls tanking, technically, even though, you know, losing games is never fun. I want to see competitiveness more than anything. And if we win competitively or if we lose competitively, I will take that on the chin. But when we see games like this, where we are down 20 points each and every single game, each and every single minute of the game, 119 to 99 as the final score, I can't sit here and take that. That's always going to be a miserable time and a miserable loss to take. And that's what it was with Dallas. Then, obviously, second night of a back-to-back, we faced the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we won this game. The score kind of got away from me there, but we actually lost the game, sorry. Let's take a look. 135 to 119. Yeah, that was a game where we played better, a game where we played stronger, a game where it felt like we had a chance, but it was the fourth quarter once again. I think Minnesota had 40 points in this fourth quarter compared to the Bulls. I think it was 24, something like that maybe. It was really, really poor in the end, and that's how Minnesota walked away with the win. We were actually up in the third quarter of that game, and then we gave up 40 points in the fourth. And then we kind of did something very similar to the Hawks, except we were the one that dominated in the fourth. We had an unbelievable fourth quarter, and we beat the Hawks 125 to 113. Atlanta were up big in this game once more, up by 18 points, and they let it all slip away. I'm not a fan of this Atlanta Hawks team. I haven't been a fan of the Atlanta Hawks team for a while, and I think losses like this is going to really hurt their fan base more than anything. They should have won this game. They should have really stayed strong and managed the game out, and they didn't get the chance to do that. The Bulls showed why their offense is up there as one of the better parts of their game. Still, though, I would question our defense in all of the games that we played this week. And that is the understanding part of the video I wanted to talk to you guys about. We are now starting to understand just how truly bad our defense can be on any given night. Some nights you'll see good defense because everybody has a good defensive night. But for the most part, our defense has been exposed heavily thus far. And it's more of an identity type of thing. We've always kind of thought it would be bad defensively, but I don't think anybody thought it'd be as bad as this, where we were dropping 120 plus points in almost every single game that we played. So we've got to be better in that department. I've already mentioned the video about it, so I'm not going to dive too much into it now, but that's my understanding of what we got out of this week. Win, lose, overtimes, which didn't happen, but if there was an overtime, that is the knowledge that I'm taking away from the Chicago Bulls this time around. With that being said, we got to take a look at some awards given, ladies and gentlemen. So there are a couple of awards that we could give out. The Must Improve of the Week, Sixth Man of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week, and Player of the Week in general. There's some tough decisions here, ladies and gentlemen, because we went 1 and 3, but I ultimately feel for the Must Improve, I give it to the whole team. And here's the reason why. We're talking about understanding, right? This team collectively has been horrible defensively. I can't point out one single guy and say, you know what? That's the guy that sucked defensively this week. Didn't give a single ounce of effort. And he should be ashamed of himself. I can't say anything like that with this Bulls team. Because collectively, we've been very, very poor. We've been poor rim protection-wise. We've been poor perimeter defense-wise. We've been poor transition defense-wise. We've been poor in the point of attack defense. We've been poor in pick-and-roll defense. We've been poor with rotations and help. It's been everywhere. And I think, sometimes it is a player you could pick out. Sometimes there is a player you could point at and say, that guy needs to improve and that'll help everybody else. But ultimately, when a team plays badly this much on the defensive end, defense is a collective game. You can't pick out one person. And if we're understanding our defense is our problem, you have to go with the whole team for that. So I pick everybody for the Must Improve. Yes, there'll be good awards given there. Speaking of, we will go to the Defensive Player of the Week award because I think there's one guy that has stood out above and beyond the rest. And I'm going to give it to a guy that I've criticized a lot. His name is Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams, at least in that Hawks game with the victory, was quite sensational on the defensive end. And I think throughout the entire week, he's been steady on the defensive end. Gradual improvements there. But you could say the reason why I'm giving it to Patrick Williams is because no one else really stepped up to the plate defensively this week, from my point of view. But I also believe he had the standout defensive game against the Hawks. He was really good on the defensive end. He was probably the best defensive player that game. And in a game that we win, I think that pretty much gives you the Defensive Player of the Week. So fair play to Patrick Williams. And then the Player of the Week is going to go to the most consistent player and our best player this season. It's going to go to Nikola Vucevic. Even in the game where we didn't score anything, I think it was against Dallas, where we literally had no one over 15 points. Vucevic still got a double-double in that game. Vucevic is still producing at a high level. Vucevic has been very consistent, very efficient. He has looked like a rejuvenated player. Maybe he is fighting for a trade. I don't know. That's up to Vucevic at the end of the day and the Chicago Bulls. But whatever he's doing, it's working. And whatever the motivation behind it is, it's working. So let's see it continue, ladies and gentlemen. He's my player of the week. I think I've given it to him every single week in these Bulls Weekly. So congratulations to Nikola Vucevic. Now, what's to come? Well, first and foremost, we got a game against the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers in a couple of hours' time. Now, what I will say about this situation is every team has to be beat eventually. As Derrick Rose likes to say, why couldn't he be the MVP? Why can't the Chicago Bulls beat the Cleveland Cavaliers? We've had a track record in preseason of beating them twice in a row. Preseason means nothing because they didn't win a preseason game. Now they've won 11 straight in the regular season. But at least we've played them before, so we understand what's coming for us. We understand the type of team and the force of nature that is coming at us at the moment. So I actually feel like there is a chance there for the Bulls to win the game. Whether or not that actually gets achieved, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to pull up the upset of the season. What I will tell you is I do believe there's a chance there. The Bulls could grab it if they do want to. Then obviously we got the Knicks away from home. The Knicks are always going to be a team I'm terrified of, but it's also a team that, especially at Madison Square Garden, anybody could show up against them on that type of occasion. We'll wait and see how that goes. And then we got one more game in the NBA Cup against Cleveland once more. Same thing kind of applies. I think there's a chance to beat Cleveland. If we could beat them in the NBA Cup group stage, that'd be incredible for us. Very important game on the line there. But ultimately, I think there's a chance there. Maybe we could walk away with one of them. If we walk away with both of them, I would be going absolutely nuts. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.